and visited and supported. But me, I was visiting her every day. At that point, I was like, this is more important. I need to focus.
Yet again and visited and upheld yet me. I was visiting her consistently. By then I was like, this is more significant. I really want to zero in on my better half Papoose, as of late drilled down into the penances he made for Remy Mama. And what they've meant for his profession, he shared his resolute help for her during her extreme minutes, just to feel like it was all to no end. Yo, you can't do this, you got to zero in on your vocation. And I resembled Yo, I couldn't care less about that. So everything just deteriorated for me around then, like my entire world came crashing. Then Remy Mama and Papoose have snatched the titles, yet this time, it's not for their inspiring romantic tale. Sadly, Remy Mama has as of late wound up at the center of attention because of charges of betraying Papoose. While she was in jail, their relationship traverses a great 15 years, which is the reason the insight about their supposed separation has sent shockwaves through their devoted fan base. I hit absolute bottom around that time, man. Like it was genuine, terrible. Papoose's new disclosures portray his faithful help for his significant other during testing times anyway. It appears to be that Remy didn't esteem his help at all. Remy made some extreme memories. She burned through 6 long years in jail. Beginning in July 2007, this happened due to an occurrence at a club in Manhattan, where Makita Barnes-Joseph had Chancery was sentenced for attack ownership of weapons and endeavored pressure on May 13, 2008. She got an 8-year jail sentence. Yet she generally kept up with that. The shooting was unintentional back in the days. Rappers frequently tossed enormous gatherings, and very much like some other rapper, Remy Smith and her companions were in the temperament for a party, yet things took a terrible pivot. 4:00 a.m. Whenever a contention began, the contention was between Remy Mama and her then companion Makina Barnes-Joseph. Remy blamed Joseph for taking $3,000 from her. She had requested that Joseph hold her satchel, yet when she got it back the cash was gone. As they were leaving the party, Remy moved toward Joseph's vehicle and attempted to snatch her satchel back. She even had a positioning firearm. With her they started battling about the handbag. And during the battle a discharge went off, hitting Joseph in the midsection. Remy left her costly Cadillac close by and removed a taxi from the scene. The police, before long, recognized Remy as the shooter and gave a warrant for her capture. She had to deal with penalties of attack, criminal ownership of a weapon, and endeavored murder. During the preliminary, Remy guaranteed that the weapon went off coincidentally, and she didn't intend to shoot. Her lawyer got a ballistics master who made sense of that. Remy could have reflexively pulled the trigger during the battle. The lawyer additionally contended that Remy was truly the casualty that evening anyway. The weapon from which Remy shot was never found. The examiner brought up that after Smith shot Joseph, she didn't do what the vast majority, which she didn't check, assuming that Joseph was harmed, call for clinical assistance or take her to the emergency clinic. Rather, she ran. Max said she ran fan, because on the grounds that she understood what occurred in the vehicle. Your companion is shot. Do you run? Or do you call 911? Papoose around then was Remy's sweetheart through it all. Papoose remained close, but he never undermined her or even conversed with different ladies. While she was in jail, he was unquestionably faithful and steady. Papoose's affection for Remy was solid to such an extent that he was even prepared to wed her while she was in jail. Yet things took a hazardous turn when he got discovered attempting to assist her departure from jail. He, with Knight, portrays a story when he was tossed into the phone. He was able to face a major legitimate challenge for her, which shows exactly the way that profound his adoration was. And he tossed me in a cell anyway. In view of this, he was unable to see Remy for a very long time, which postponed their wedding plans. At last they traded their promises via telephone. From that point forward, Remy and Papoose have turned into several objectives. They welcome their little girl, think back in 2018, and their relationship has been brilliant. Since Papoose has reliably decided to remain close by through various challenges, Papoose said, he needs to respect his sovereign in the event that she contradicts something he needs to think about her point of view going ahead. He even called her sovereigns of all sovereigns anyway. Things have veered off in an unexpected direction in their relationship, on the grounds that Remy is at present up to speed, in a deceiving embarrassment. The astonishing part is that she isn't denying it. This present circumstance is very miserable in light of the fact that as we as a whole realize Papo has forever been unbelievably faithful to Remy regardless of what Papo's vocation. Experienced big time due to Remy Mama's detainment back in the last part of the 90s, Papoose had every one of the makings of the following huge rapper from New York, and he was truly near getting it going. He's most popular for his relationship with DJ K, Hill, his exemplary mixtapes, and his candid position on different treacheries. Through his music, I've gotten more cash flow on TV than I made in music. He had the ideal search for the period, came from the hip-hop center of New York, where probably the best MCs in history hailed from, and had the help of the unbelievable hip-bounce figure Kasey. He was a resolved rapper who continued to drop many mixtape, a large number of tunes, gradually constructing a continuing in the roads. His most memorable break came when he showed up on Cool Hole's Foundations of Evil collection with the track Home Sweet Burial Service Home. In 2004, DJ Kasey, a neighborhood radio character, had a week after week meeting where he highlighted unsigned craftsmen. Papoose, catching wind of this open door, chose to make a melody for Castle Show, made him stand apart. Was his striking plan to buy and by hand the tune to Clay at the radio broadcast. He figured this could allow him an opportunity to WAP for Calais and put a face to the name anyway. When weeks passed and his tune didn't get played, Papoose developed baffled. He visited the station again in any event, calling into Clay's show to communicate his failure. Clay's reaction was obtuse. He let Papoose know that not every person could rap, recommending he become a fireman. Rather, in spite of this underlying misfortune, Papoose persevered. When Kasey left the radio broadcast, he found Papoose and his team holding up external. This conflict prompted a discussion, and Kasey fostered a preference for Papoose. He played Papoose's tune on the radio, as well as marked him to his road sweepers. Engrave as a highlighted craftsman, Papoose's profession began to take off after he performed Sequential Butcher Live in 2005, winning the Best Underground Craftsman. Grant Busta Rhymes additionally turned into a fan, including Papoose on the remix of his hit single Touch It. This consideration pulled in significant record names, and Papoose in the end marked a $1.5 million arrangement with Jive Records anyway. His process took a troublesome turn as he confronted opposition inside the name. A few leaders attempted to control him and block his profession by deferring his presentation collection's delivery, the Nassara Dream, regardless of his potential. This obstruction made him miss his second in the music business. Disappointed by these difficulties and the Mark's activities, Papoose chose to leave Jive Records after only a year. In the wake of leaving J Records in 2007, Papoose needed to begin without any preparation. Yet this time he had more opportunity. He chose to utilize his foundation to share information and significant messages through his melodies, focusing a light on treacheries like misleading detainment and provocation, looked by dark hip jump specialists. Based on what's frequently called the hip-hop police, one of his tunes drew consideration from the genuine police. Those hip jump cops, they started focusing on Papoose, appearing at his live shows, badgering him, and in any event, annoying his fans. This badgering frightened off fans from going to his future shows, which eventually prompted him being sidelined by, on top of that, Papoose confronted a claim from the Sam Cooke bequest over an example in one of his melodies, which prevented its prosperity papers. Additionally, sent off a scorch character death crusade against him, attempting to destroy his music and his message. Areas of strength for him, voice against the foundation, couldn't endure these difficulties And he addressed the cost with a quieting of his voice. Being a quiet rapper felt like an exercise in futility in the business. The last section of Papo's vocation is a cycle unexpected, reflecting how hip bounce changed over the long run back. When Papoose was attempting to leave his imprint, hip bounce was about free demeanor, with verses becoming the overwhelming focus over the music anyway. As we moved into the mid-2000s, cash turned into a major piece of the game. Instrumentals weren't simply a setting, they were vital for make individuals dance or possibly gesture their heads. One analysis Craps confronted was that his thump decisions didn't coordinate to his verses, making a lopsidedness. In the meantime, rappers like Jay-Z, Nas, Lil Wayne, and others tracked down the right harmony between Pulsate's verses and towing the line of governmental issues. Papoose's music inclined vigorously towards verses that were really expressive, yet missed the mark on groove that got individuals rolling. He turned out to be viewed as an information rapper who couldn't be quickly advanced as a result of it. Without legitimate advancement, his true capacity gradually blurred, and he wound up